Retired and ready to travel, but not sure where to go first? Here are 10 bucket list trips that I have personally taken. Some of them were easy, some challenged me, but every single one changed me in some way. And I'm not going to just show you pretty pictures. I am going to talk about what I wish I had known before I went on each trip, what surprised me, what it felt like. That way, I can help you decide which trips might be best for you. And yes, Ed the Explorer, my mascot, came with me. Tiny Wolf, Big Adventures. Number one, Alaska Cruise. If you want something that is bucket list worthy but easy, start out with an Alaska cruise. This is one of the easiest trips you can take in retirement. You fly to Vancouver or Seattle, you unpack once, and you get ready to enjoy the experience of a lifetime. The scenery will come to you, which is what we want during retirement travel, right? Easy and comfortable, minimal effort. I've actually been on 2 Alaska cruises, and the scenery is stunning. I loved sitting on my balcony looking at the dramatic scenery and sailing through the fjords. The Alaska ports are easy. You can take an excursion or you don't have to. You can just walk around and enjoy the sights. One of my bucket list items on the Alaska cruise was eat some king crab. And I definitely did that and enjoyed every morsel. Ed spent a lot of time on the balcony with me. We were contemplating life, thinking deep thoughts. If you want a low stress trip that is simply breathtaking, this is a great place to start. Number two, an African safari. There are many countries where you can take a safari in Africa, but I chose South Africa. I did not go to the very popular and over touristed Kruger National Park. I went to a smaller park called Pilanesberg, and I stayed at a resort called the Ivory Tree Lodge. There is something about seeing animals in the wild that hits you differently. We were in the Jeep, and a herd of elephants walked right past us. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't love the African safari. I don't like getting up at 4 in the morning to go on the safari rides, although they do have evening rides as well. And bathrooms are few and far between. If I had to do it over again, I would choose a lodge where the animals come to you, and that is a little bit more expensive. I know about the Giraffe Manor in Kenya. I would love to go there. Or the Chobe Game Lodge in Botswana also has good reviews. I have not been. I kept a very close eye on Ed during that trip because he looks a little bit like lunch to some of those animals. But we made it out safely. Overall, South Africa was a magical trip. Number three, Machu Picchu, Peru. No, I did not hike the Inca Trail. I'm not 35 years old anymore, remember? My friend Robin and I splurged on a train. It's called the Hiram Bingham, and it leaves from Cusco and takes you to Aguas Caliente, the base town below Machu Picchu, where you start exploring the historic site. Before we even got on the train, there was dancing, a band playing, open bar, food. It was a glorious ride to get to Machu Picchu. The fare included a private tour guide and afternoon tea afterward. We spent 2 days in Cusco, which is 11,500 feet above sea level, trying to get acclimated to the higher altitude, but we weren't very successful. We had to take oxygen. We even tried the coca tea, but it didn't really work. We were happy to get down to Machu Picchu's altitude, which is about 8,000. We were fine once we got there. One thing that amazed me about Machu Picchu is the stonework was done without any tools. How did they figure that out 500 years ago? Those stones are cut so precisely that they fit together without mortar. The Incas also figured out how to grow food down the side of a mountain. I wonder what happened to that civilization. Machu Picchu had been on my bucket list for years. Ed the Explorer had no trouble with altitude sickness. Number 4, Ireland and Scotland. This is another easy spot for first-time retirement travelers going overseas because they speak English, sort of. You'll find green landscapes, castles, history, good public transportation. I actually did Ireland and Scotland as 2 separate trips. My auntie sponsored me on a trip to Ireland because she was sure that we have Irish heritage. I went to Cork, Dublin, kissed the Blarney Stone, drove around the Ring of Kerry, and warning, if you get carsick, that road might do it to you, so be prepared. The trip to Scotland, a very good friend that I met years ago through my couch surfing activities. She lived in London, but then she moved to Oban, Scotland. I wanted to visit her, and I also wanted to attend the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is the largest theatrical festival in the world that happens every August. I combined seeing my friend with going to 8 shows in 4 days. I had a lovely driver on the trip, a woman I met online. She lived in Glasgow, and she drove me around Glasgow and the Whiskey Trail. She was fabulous at introducing me to her country, and we became lifelong friends on that 2-week trip. I have some Scottish heritage on my mom's side, and I went back to Scotland 2 years later for that same friend's wedding. I visited the town of Cambusnathan, where I think my ancestors may have lived. I spent a day walking along the coast in Aberdeen, and I museumed myself out in Dundee. Scotland has a lot to offer, and I still haven't seen all of it. I would definitely go back. Ed fit right in. There were lots of rolling hills. He could just roam the fields however he wished. Very on brand for a tiny wolf mascot. If you want to go somewhere beautiful and manageable, Ireland and or Scotland are good choices. Number 5, Australia and New Zealand cruise. This is an ultimate retirement travel bucket list trip. You want to be sure you have enough time. Stay a few weeks. It's going to take you days to recover from the 24-hour flight. Our cruise left from Sydney. It went to Melbourne. It went to Tasmania and over to New Zealand. We did Dunedin, Christchurch, and Rotorua. At each port, we decided to check out the local pubs and talk to the people instead of taking excursions. That was probably the most fun part of the trip. Before the cruise, we explored Sydney, Canberra, and the Hunter Valley wine country. After a 2-day stay in Auckland, I don't recommend Auckland. It was pretty boring. We flew back to Melbourne for the Australian Open. The energy of the city during that time was special. Ed took in fjords, mountains. Be sure, if you take this trip, to stay long enough to experience this magnificent country. I didn't get a chance to do the Great Barrier Reef, the Uluru Rock. You're retired. You've earned the right to take your time, slow down. When you come home, you won't feel like you just took a trip. You will feel like you have truly experienced a different part of the world. Number 6, Bangkok is a full sensory overload experience. You will have culture shock. The colors and the flavors and the sounds are amazing. Everywhere you turn, there's a beautiful temple, gold Buddhas, hairless monks in orange cloaks. I almost got scammed by a taxi driver, so watch out. The best Peking duck I've ever eaten. This kind of trip on your own will challenge your travel abilities and turn you into a smarter traveler. Number 7, Athens, Greece. You are literally visiting the birthplace of democracy, the Acropolis, the Parthenon, the Caryatids. Plus, Athens is a bustling modern city like New York. I loved it. It has green spaces, bands playing outdoors, nightlife, public transportation that is easy to figure out and works properly, world-class museums, yummy food. I learned French fries go inside the pita bread with the gyro. Didn't know that. I even found an exhibit in a museum that was commemorating the Greek general that founded my hometown in Michigan of Ypsilanti. Not to mention, Athens is the hopping off point to visit the beautiful, idyllic Greek islands. This is one of those places that makes you feel connected to something bigger in the world. Ed is ready to go back to Greece, and so am I. Number 8, Italy. Italy is one of the top tourist destinations in the world. 65 million international tourists go there every year, so there's got to be a reason, right? My first trip to Italy was years ago, and I did Rome, Florence, and Venice. Of those 3, I liked Rome the best. I enjoyed seeing the Colosseum, the ruins of the Forum, and the Trevi Fountain. The architecture is simply stunning. But those cities nowadays are very crowded, and even then, my friend's mom almost got pickpocketed. I saw the man unzipping her purse, grabbing her wallet. I slapped his hand, and he dropped it. We were on the train, so beware. I might suggest starting out with some of the smaller cities in Italy, like Puglia or Bologna. If you haven't been to Italy, I do suggest putting it on your bucket list. Ed wasn't born yet when I went to Rome, Florence, and Venice, and this year I'm planning to go to Milan and Lake Como. So he is really looking forward to that trip and seeing a different part of Italy. Number 9, Egypt, the pyramids, and a Nile cruise. I felt like Cleopatra cruising down the Nile River on the deck of the Sonesta St. George. Who doesn't have the pyramids on their bucket list? We traveled from Aswan to Luxor for 4 nights on the cruise. We stopped in Kam Obu, Esfu, Esna, and we saw the Valley of the Kings, the West Bank, and Luxor. We had 3-course meals 3 times a day and a very small number of passengers. We felt like royalty on that trip. This is another trip where I met people that I am still in touch with today. You've seen the pyramids on TV your whole life, right? And then suddenly you're standing in front of them. Of course, I took the iconic Kiss the Sphinx photo. Ed and I posed like we were on the cover of National Geographic. I suggest you hire a guide to visit the pyramids. Otherwise, you will be swarmed by vendors. And for women traveling solo, I especially recommend that you hire a guide for your entire trip. My companion and I, woman friend from law school, we did not feel comfortable walking even just a block from our hotel to a restaurant by ourselves. We were glad that we had hired a guide for that trip. The pyramids, though, are definitely an iconic bucket list item. Number 10, Antarctica. Antarctica is not an easy trip, and you really have to want to go. It takes some planning and some time to get there, and it is not an inexpensive trip. For me, it was my 7th continent, and that's the main reason I went. And many other people on the ship were also celebrating that achievement. Yeah, we partied. The DJ had us grooving, and we were enjoying our feeling of accomplishment. I enjoyed seeing penguins and icebergs. Fears about traveling through the Drake Passage. It can be either a Drake Lake or a Drake Shake. We had about 3-foot waves, which is not really very bad, but do prepare for seasickness. My travel companion on this trip sadly did get seasick, and eventually she got the Bonine so that she could feel better. This was the first time Ed the Explorer and I saw penguins up close. This trip is quiet, it's remote, it really is extraordinary scenery. If you want a true once in a lifetime experience, go to Antarctica. Here is what I've learned taking these 10 bucket list trips. Retirement travel isn't just about checking things off a list. It's about choosing experiences that make you feel alive, capable, and honestly, a little proud of yourself. So don't wait for the perfect time. Pick your trip and commit to it. So if you're sitting there wondering if you should take the trip, this is me telling you, yes, take the trip. Write me a comment and let me know which one of these 10 trips is on your bucket list.